In this episode, we share the process of what we go through when we select a campsite and set up camp, including some tips that might help you out on your next camping adventure. So stay tuned. Looks like we're getting here just in time for noon check-in. Now to get checked in, and then we'll find a campsite and show you guys what we do to set up camp. So we just picked the campsite, and the first thing we want to do before we take it for sure is we want to check the utilities here. So we're going to check the power, make sure the water runs, make sure the sewer is accessible, and we'll go from there. So gonna check the water first, see if it's working, and we're good there. So now we're gonna check to make sure that there's power coming to this pedestal here before we even back in all the way and get set up. We don't want to get all set up and find out the power don't work. Give it a few seconds, make sure the light will turn green. You want about 120 volts, and it looks like we're good. So once you've done that, go ahead and turn the power back off on the breaker here. I like to pull this back out. Set it right up there. Now that we know that the utilities are fine, I'm going to commit to the site. Before I back in though, I want to make sure I have good clearance for my slides and when I go to put my awning out. As you can see, there's no real obstructions. There's no trees here at the site. I just got to worry about the picnic table over here and make sure I'm not running into the pedestal over here. Once I'm back in, I like to come back out and make sure I can open the basement doors without any obstructions, and we're good there. So we're a little uneven. I'm going to grab these blocks I like to ride up onto. Also, when you're traveling, it's a good idea to have your basement doors all locked so they're not flexing and swinging open while you're driving. Format. Get that out of the way. I didn't have to do that yet, but I'm just doing that anyways. I'll have to adjust it later. But yeah, I like to use these blocks to drive up on top. Them underneath, make sure it's center enough. The other one back here. I like to do this because it's less stress on the stabilizer jacks. You don't have to have your tires up in the air and rely on your stabilizer jacks. Alright, now that we have everything figured out on the outside for utilities, and we're backed in. We're up 1 blocks now. I'm going to go ahead and auto level, get the stabilizer jacks out, get that set up, and you can see how it is in here when we're traveling. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these slides out, and then I'll go out and hook up the power. So I come back here to the panel. Need some light. Okay, we good up there? Kitty's not in the way of the slides at all?
I don't know where Luca is. Can you see Luca over here?
She's probably underneath the seat there. We gotta do a cat check before we put out the slides so we're not squishing any kitties. We're all good? Okay, I'm gonna put out the left slide first. So I'm gonna go to my slide screen here and extend the side with the dinette and the couch. Always look for obstructions or like a door hanging open from travel, just in case. You don't want that getting snagged in your slide when you put it out. All right, now we're gonna do the other side here. This is the slide that's pretty much the whole right side of our RV. See Midge T? Okay, now the slides are out, we can move around in here, and there's one other thing I gotta do before I go outside and plug in, and this is just because of our cats. This is something we always do before we do a lot of setting up, so our cats aren't climbing up into the dash, because that's happened before. When we first got this RV the first night, our one cat climbed up into that dash, and we couldn't find her for days. We were outside looking for her in the campground for days. And one night I was up till like 1, 2 in the morning, and I thought I heard a little whimper coming from the dash area. So I sat up for an hour waiting for the cat to come out. Eventually she came out, and we were good after that. But because of that, I like to put this board in front of the area, the driver's section, so they're not doing that again. Now, as you can see, I had to cut this out so it fits. But this way, our cats can't get up inside the dash anymore. So now that we have our slides out, she's gonna finish up in here, setting up the litter box. Orton rides in a carrier, and the other cats do too at times, but we usually have him in the carrier all the time just to be safe, because his stomach can get upset. And we rather him do what he's gotta do in there than anywhere else while we're driving. So.
Yes, and we do put puppy pads in with him, so if you have a cat that has stomach issues when you travel, that's been a real saver for us.
Yeah, puppy pads.
The puppy pads.
We'll put that underneath, and then if anything happens, we just gotta take that out, and there's hardly any cleaning, or no cleaning at all, hopefully, when that happens. And it looks like it did a good job. No issues.
He peed.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's not visible, so.
But he tried to cover it up.
But that's exactly where that pad comes in handy. I got someone pulling in next to us here. I got a neighbor. So now I'm gonna get in here, get our sewer stuff out of the way, and grab our power cord from underneath. Should have enough length here, plenty of length, and then what excess I have I'll shove underneath the RV when I'm done. Grab the surge protector here. Always good to have one of these surge protectors. We've been through many power surges and power outages at campgrounds, so I would suggest that you get one of these. This in, make sure the power's on before you plug it in. Turn on the breaker, double check it, make sure the power's still good. It should be, we just checked it. Never hurts to check again though. Alright, so we're good. Power's hooked up. Now we can turn on the air conditioner, which is probably the next thing we want to do before I hook anything else up. I want to make sure everyone's taken care of, including the cats. So let's go turn on the air conditioner, and we'll finish hooking up these utilities. So now, we're gonna hook up the sewer. Since I'm doing the sewer first, I wanna make sure I get out a pair of gloves. Alright, so let's get the sewer hooked up. Get the sewer door opened up there. We're probably gonna need 2 of these, so I'm gonna connect 2 of these together. That should be everything we need for the sewer hookup. So I took the cap off here to the gray and black tanks so I can hook up the hose. Alright. Get a couple pieces connected here. And that should give us about, what, 20 feet roughly, if not more. Gonna use the sidewinder to set this on. These come in handy. Sometimes you don't need them, but I like to have them up just in case. We're gonna take this around the back. Go ahead and hook this side up. Okay, now that that's hooked up, I'm gonna extend the hose at this point over the sidewinder. Now, a lot of these have a thread that you can thread this on, but also a lot of them are worn out, so it won't work. I always like to try first. Make sure you have enough hose here that you can do this. Twist it on there. And this one's fairly new, so it did take, but that doesn't mean it's always going to stay on. So what I like to do for a bonus, for extra precaution, I like to take this chalk and make sure it has some downforce to hold that down, just in case the threads don't hold it in place.
The last thing you want is for an accident here.
Yeah, you don't want it going all over the place. And that's the sewer hookup. So now we're going to hook up the water here. This is our wet bay area. Right now we have it on dry camp. I'm going to switch it back to city water. Pull the frag container out of here. Pull the hose out. And this hole is where we'll put the hose down through. Now, it's a good thing to wrap up your other items that you're using for your water setup. Keep them from getting dirt in them. Probably going to need a little bit more, so I'm going to get a little bit more length out of this. And for me to do that, I just rotate the hose. And you can get more length out of it then. So now I think I'm pretty good there. I'm going to go ahead and hook up a water pressure regulator, and this is good to have. You don't want to blow out your plumbing at all. So this will help regulate the PSI of the water going through, so that don't happen. Go ahead and hook up the water filter here for the outside. Throw that on there. Get to where I'm going with it. So I got plenty of length there. Get on there nice and tight. Now that I have that end hooked up, if you notice, this is where I'm going to put my hose at. Okay? This is the city water hookup. Now, if I were to put it in like this, you see how it sticks out and protrudes past the opening of the door. So if I want to be able to close this, they have something you can use here. Little L pipe. So you attach this right here. Get this attached enough. You don't want to tighten it up yet. You want to have some looseness to it. That way it's easier to maneuver while you're hooking up your hose. Make sure you get on the threads right. Like that. Make sure this is tight. This little guy's in my way. There we go. You can move him out of the way easy. Okay, we're tight there. Now I want to do the same here. Get this tight. That way water ain't shooting out because it's not tight enough. So now all 3 connections are tight. I want to take this, close that, and that should be good now. Now we should be hooked up. Before I close the door here though, I want to go over and turn the water on to double check that there's no water shooting out any of the connections. So now I'm going to turn the water on. Look to see if there's any water shooting out. We're good there, we're good here. Now I'm going to look at the water pressure regulator, and it is up in the green area. See, that's where we want it to be, in the green. So now that the water's all hooked up, I'm going to put everything back in place where it goes. These are the caps for the water filter I have outside. I like to put them in here to keep them from getting dirty. And that's it for setting up the water. Now that we're done setting up the utilities, we can set up our chairs and such, and then we'll be done outside. Anytime we travel anywhere, we turn our propane tank off. Once we get to our destination, then we turn it back on. So now that we're all set up for most part, we go ahead and turn this back on, and now we'll have hot water and something to cook with. Gotta love that propane. Alright, let's get this set up. Now that we're all set up, the only thing left to do is enjoy the week. Thanks everyone for watching this video, and if you found it helpful and you liked it, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Take care everyone.